Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. As you can see, I have a half, well not a half, but a quarter completed, maybe less project on my desk. I did start a new video and then Timmy the cat decided that he would love to get involved, and just as I was about to stamp some pink flowers on the project, he decided to put his paw in the Magenta Madness ink pad, which looks very pretty on his white paw, but obviously had to be dealt with. So I've sort of kind of come back to the project and thought, you know, I can sort of pick it up and just talk you through where we'd got to before the cat took over. So I am featuring the mini paper pumpkin boxes that you'll find in the annual catalogue. Now they are £7 and you get 10 in a pack, and they're absolutely brilliant for all sorts of little gifts that you might want to send to friends and family. And the brilliant thing is they are also food safe, so you can put little food goodies in there as well if you wish. So they're the basis of my project, and I'm featuring today the Hippo Happiness stamp set, and I've used the hippo on this little box, so I thought you'd like to see what the hippo looked like. Absolutely love this set, it's so cute, but also it has some coordinating dies with it, and they are absolutely fabulous in their own right, even if you never use the animal dies to cut the animals out. There are some brilliant shapes in there, so I will share that with you slightly later on. So to just recap, the boxes all come pre-scored, and before you start you need to just make sure that you just bend the box into shape so that you've got your box ready to put together. But the easiest way to decorate it is to have it flat. Now on this particular one, I'm sort of going all out to share with you what you can do with the box, but you can, as I've done here, keep the bottom of the box, sorry, you're now getting seasick, I expect. Hit the camera. You can just leave the bottom of the box absolutely blank. You can put some some matching lines on the top. So this is basically the project that we're going to complete today. So this is the designer series paper, and I've just flipped that and used the same colours on the back, or you can go for a solid background on the base, which is what I've done today. So I'm working with 3 of the 2020-22 in colours: Magenta Madness, Just Jade and Misty Moonlight, and I'm using the little 6x6 pack of designer series paper that is all based on the in colours for the next 2 years. Normally there's 1 or 2 that I really like. I mean, if I had to make a choice, Magenta Madness is my favourite, but I've got to say that all the colours, I absolutely love all the colours this year. I'm just trying to find the cinnamon cider, it seems to be escaping me. There you go. So they are the in colours for this year, and we are going to feature these 3 today. So what I have done, put that to one side, I can't get it back in the packet, of course. So I've cut this at 5.5 by 5 3/4, which, if my measurements are correct, is 14 by 19.5 centimetres, and I've just stuck that onto the bottom, and then flipping it over I've done the same measurements, and I've put this background paper onto the effectively the underside of the lid. So I'm going to go back to trying to stamp my box, and I started off with a little butterfly, so perhaps we'll just stick with butterflies at the moment. I do have a sleeping Ollie behind me, but hopefully he'll stay that way, and I'm going to keep my ink pads sort of very close to me, just in case. So I'm going to alternate between a pink flower and a blue flower and a pink butterfly. So I'm just going to put my blue butterflies where I think I might like them. Now this is the back spine of the box. So if you can imagine, when the box is actually shut, you really want your butterflies coming this way. So if you're doing things like butterflies and it matters which way up they are, then just take a little bit of time as you stamp your box. Just to, it's not the end of the world if they're facing the wrong way, but if you're having an OCD moment like me, then you know it's good if you can perhaps get them up the way that you want them to. So I'm going to put a blue butterfly over here, mix it up a little bit, and then I'm going to have some blue butterflies on the lid. And then I'm going to change over and have some pink butterflies. So I've just wiped my stamp with my chamois, which is brilliant to have to hand. Now again, these are going to be facing upwards, so we want our butterfly going this way. You watch, when I put this together I'll find that they're the wrong way up, and I got it all wrong, but there you go. As I say, not the end of the world. Now that is going to flap inside, so in theory the butterflies want to come that way, she said. I have to say I have a poor imprint in my Magenta Madness ink pad. It's funny, the other two cats, Ollie and Marley, they have their pads are generally pink in colour. Timmy is the only one that's got black pads, apart from one tiny little bit of pink. So I'm kind of thinking he was getting a bit jealous and he wanted matching pink pads like the others. So I've got a pink butterfly there. I think that's all the butterflies I need. So I'm going to switch over now to my, I'm going to do a pink butterfly on here as well. Let's go mad with the butterflies. A bit like Wink of Stella, you can never have too many butterflies. Now of course you could, if you wanted to, talking of Wink of Stella, you could add some Wink of Stella on all your butterflies if you want to. I'm seriously not going to go that far because I don't want the video going on indefinitely. Let's put another pink one up here. And one there. Alright, to take the butterfly stamp away from me, that's the order of the day. So let's go with our areas where we've got blue butterflies. We're going to put a pink flower. So actually I think I want a blue flower now. Great thing with the flower, you can attack it in any direction because it won't matter. I think that will do. So I'm going to just leave that with butterflies and no flowers on the front, because otherwise you're going to have an odd colouring. So I think that's absolutely fine. I mean, you could always add in another colour, but let's not complicate it. So the next thing that we need to do, apart from putting the ink pads away for safety, is to now put our box together. Now these two bits, you need this bit and this bit to fit underneath it, so you need to bring, make sure I've not got any ink on my fingers, so you need to bring this bit in and this bit in and that bit in and that bit in, and then as you bring the side down, these little tabs clip into those little cut out bits here, and that will hold your box together. And then that fits in like so, and then the box closes by, just realising this is probably not on camera, by putting the tabs into there. So there's your completed box. So we now need to just decorate the top of it. So I've cut 3 pieces of designer series paper, and they are 5 9/16 by 7/8 of an inch. So not the easiest of measurements, but it has to be that to fit the box. So the equivalent metric is 14 by 2.2. So I'm just going to stick them onto the box. I want the Just Jade colour in the middle because that's going to be my feature colour where I'm going to put my sentiment. So let's start with the pink and Magenta Madness. So any adhesive of your choice. I'm still using up my snail, but I am rapidly running out of it, which is it's quite sad, but I'm sure our new equivalent is absolutely fine. I have actually got round to buying myself some of it now, so I'm ready to move on. So I'm just trying to get them as evenly spaced out as possible. Just go. Go. Finally, the Just Jade strip in the middle. So now let me share with you the Hippo and Friends dies, and this is what I really love about these dies, is that in addition to all the little cutouts for the animals, you've got a set of 3 different shapes which are absolutely brilliant for adding sentiments and layers onto your cards. So it's a whole bonus with this particular set of dies. I'll put all the details of the products even that I've used on the front of the video as normal, but that is the shape that particular die will cut out. This is the shape we're actually going to be using on the project today, and then that one is what these cut out. In addition, you've got these 2 little elements which effectively will cut little I want to say holes, I can't think really what the right word is, it's but you'll see what I mean. It will, within a card, it will cut these 2 little holes in your card, and you can actually thread your ribbon through it. So you could always use that on the top of your card, for example, on a layer, and then you can just tie your bow. I'm not going to do that because we all know that's going to be rubbish, but you get the gist, don't you? And you could just use one of these for maybe making some bookmarks up. Yeah, the word will come to me, but sure you're all shouting it at the camera, but yeah, or at the video. But there you go. So that is another really useful little addition to this set. So as I say, if you never ever use the animals, there's some other great elements in it. There's a balloon cut out there and a string cut out. Something flashed, oh that's right, something flashed in my mind and it went. So within the animals, you've got a hippo, you've got a sheep, you've got a horse, but you've also got a little horn here. So if you want a unicorn, which would go in with your sentiment here, when in doubt be a unicorn, the horse becomes a unicorn. So you've got the choice of actually 4 animals in there. You've got a little dotted line which gives the idea of the flight of the butterfly as well. So it's a really pretty little stamp set, but as I say, really made so much nicer with this coordinating set of dies, because it just gives you so much more to play with in effect. So I'm going to use, as I said, this one, and I'm going to use the smaller cutout of that particular shape. I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping on that. Now again, there's plenty of nice sentiments in that stamp set in its own right. You can use whatever sentiments you fancy. I'm using this one from the Nothing's Better Than, and that's Today's Plan is Consume. And the reason that I'm using that is because I'm actually going to be filling these little boxes with some chocolates, which of course, yes, I have forgotten to bring those in with me, but never mind, I will show it to you later. So I've got here Today's Plan Consume. Straighten that on my stamp, and I'm going to stamp that in the Just Jade, and I'm going to just keep it over to the left hand side of my piece of card. And then I'm going to also add a sentiment of hello. I mean, you could use the To You stamp in here, that would be nice, but I'm going to use the little hello stamp from this Well Said stamp set. So many stamps in here. You have to give it a second look to find what you're looking for, because it's definitely the stamp or the sentiment stamp set that keeps on giving. So again, I'm going to do that stamping in Just Jade. I'm just going to put that at the top. Then I'm going to put my ink pads away, breathe a sigh of relief that I haven't had a visit from a certain cat, and I'm going to just now stick that in the middle of the larger cutout layer there of the Just Jade. Now I have used, it's a 2-step stamp set, so I have used my Stamparatus to stamp the different animals that I'm going to use. Rather than do that on camera, I have taken the precaution of doing them beforehand. But what I will do at the end of this video, when I've put all this together, I will stop the video, and then I will come back and just share with you how I've used my Stamparatus to stamp the animals, which will hopefully give you an idea. We all know that it probably would go wrong if I tried to do it on camera, and I do tend to get in a bit of a mess when I use my Stamparatus, so I thought this was a sensible way forward. So I'm going to add my little pink sheet. I'm going to put some mini Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I've used Blushing Bride as my base colour, and I've used the Magenta Madness as the top colour. And I'm going to stick my little sheep on the corner here. That's going to go in the middle, and my little blue sheep I'm going to put up here. Now my base for that was Seaside Spray and then Misty Moonlight on the top layer. Again, I'm going to use some mini stamping dimensionals. Just that much easier with a little cutout like a little lamb. There's also a really pretty little bow tie, and you can cut that out, and I'm going to stick that onto the little blue sheep, and you won't be able to see it, but I have of course put Wink of Stella on there. It has to appear somewhere on a card when at all possible. So I'm just going to put my little glue dot on the back there. Yeah. Pop that under his neck. And then I'm just going to take one of these blue adhesive backed gems even, that are in the current mini catalogue. I'm just going to take one of the small ones. I'm just going to pop that in the middle of his bow tie, just to give it a little bit of bling. Any excuse. So he's going to go on the corner here. I'm going to add some larger stamping dimensionals to my sentiment layers. I'm just going to pop that in the middle. And then I'm going to take my little horse. The base colour for him was soft sea foam, and then we've got the Just Jade as the top colour. And I need some mini dimensionals for him. The stamping dimensionals are fighting back, and I'm not getting the layers off, or the backing sheets, they're not coming off. There you go. So I'm just going to put him on the top there, so that he's just by the sentiment, which is the reason why I kept this over to the left hand side. So finally I've got two little butterflies that I've stamped, one in the Misty Moonlight, one in Magenta Madness, and I've cut them out again using the dies. I've added a little bit of Wink of Stella to the body, and then just on the edges of their wings, and I'm just going to bend that backwards or upwards with my bone folder, just to give it that little sense of flight. Now I need a glue dot. I'm going to pop the blue one down here. If I can pick the glue dot up. Let's try another one. Obviously a day for the adhesives now to fight back. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. There we go. That's going to go on that corner there. And that is our completed box. Now, if I'd remembered to bring the chocolates in, I would have shared with you that now, but I will do that before I start on the Stamparatus stamping. here are some others that I've made. So I'm going to be busy at the post office tomorrow, I think, sending out these to friends. But they're ideal little boxes as just to send little gifts out to people. I've said this before when I've used them. They'd even fit. They'd make a great face mask box. But I think you could probably get some of the tea lights in there, perhaps the scented tea lights, little bath bombs, or that sort of thing. So it's all sorts of things you can put in there. So that is my little collection there, using the Hippo Happiness set and their coordinating dies. And just by changing up your designer series paper, you can obviously get a different look. These are quite similar, but as I say, I've done something different. I've just actually remembered that there is something I haven't finished with this, so we're going to go back to that. But before I finish with that, I'm just going to share these two with you. These are actually featuring some products that you will find in the new mini January to June catalogue. So that's just a little taster there, something to look forward to. So it's a very pretty stamp set that features dragonflies, and it comes with a punch, and you've got 2 sizes of dragonfly. So we'll be talking more about the new catalogue as the month of December goes on, but I thought you just, as I'd made them, I thought you might just like to see those. So yeah, I hadn't quite finished this one. So inside I've got one of the other larger pieces of white card. I've cut that out again using the same die, and I'm going to add to that, the cascading boxes out the way. I'm actually going to add to that this cutout from the coordinating dies that go with the Nothing's Better Than stamp that I've used with this sentiment in it. And you can die cut the word chocolate, which I have already done, and I've done that in just jade. So I'm just going to poke out the little bits, and what I've done with this, I've put a tiny bit of adhesive sheet, or a piece of adhesive sheet big enough to cut this word out. I stuck that onto a piece of just jade, and then I've cut out, or die cut out, the word chocolate. And the reason I've used that is because when I now take the backing off, the whole of the word will be sticky, and it will easily then attach to my layer of card that I've got here. So you just need to get your nail behind it, or a paper piercer, and just gently pull that off. Keep your fingers away from as much of this as you possibly can, because the more you touch this, the more the adhesive is going to come off, but accepting that you do obviously have to touch it to a degree. So I'm just going to pop that in the middle there. I'm just going to then stick that in the middle of my lid. So this is, if you like, the all dancing version of the box, where I've put covers on the actual lid of the box, but on these, for example, I haven't done that. I've just stamped out the word of chocolate. So the choice is obviously totally yours, and you don't have to have chocolate or any other word stamped out. It's just that I happened to have that die set and I was happening to put chocolate in it. So that was that. One final thing I've used around this box, I've used this little stamp to decorate the side of my box, which is brilliant because it doesn't matter which way you put that up, it's going to look right whatever. So that's basically my introduction to that really pretty stamp set and coordinating dies, and I hope you've enjoyed that today's project, and I hope you'll be able to sort of make your version of it using your whatever stamp sets and punches, dies, whatever you have that you enjoy using. You can always dress it up with some extra embellishments like I've done with this one. So yeah, you can change it up to suit what you want. So I'm going to call it a day at that. I will be back. I will show you the chocolates in there, and I'll then just share with you some thoughts about how to use a stamparatus to stamp out these animals. So I'll be back and I'll see you soon. So I've now filled my little box up with some individually wrapped chocolates. So they are all ready to be uh, wrapped up and put in the post. In fact, I might put another couple in there. I think there is a little bit more room that I could fit an extra two in. So as I say, it's just a little idea. They're not that heavy, so they're ideal for popping in the post, just to let friends and family know that we're still thinking about them. We've not seen them for months, but we're still thinking about them. Just a nice little surprise to get something like that through the post. My one serious piece of advice is, if you're going to have a go at this and you're going to fill them up with these little chocolates, then buy the chocolates and fill the boxes up straight away. Because if you don't, you are sitting there watching the television, getting a bit bored in the evening, and thinking, "Oh, do you know what? I've got a box of chocolates outside, haven't I? I'll just have one." But it doesn't stop at one, does it? So, in all seriousness, we've just had our shopping order, and I've had to order another couple of boxes. I mean, I hasten to add, we haven't eaten 2 boxes between us, but I knew with the amount of boxes I'm going to be sending out, I was going to run out of chocolate, so I've had to replace them. So I'm literally going to take my own advice, and as soon as I've finished filming, I'm going to go downstairs and fill these boxes up, ready to put them in the post. Get the chocolates out of harm's way. So that is my finished box. And moving on now to the stamping, which of course we all know is probably going to go horribly wrong, but there is the proof that it can be done. When the stress of the camera isn't on me, it can be done. But the idea is, I'll give you the gist of what you have to do. So I've got my stamparatus, and because it's a photopolymer stamp set that I'm using, I'm going to use the little additional mat that you get with the stamparatus. If I was using a cling stamp set, the stamps are that much thicker, so you don't need the mat. Optional is the grid paper. There is a mini grid paper pad that you can buy that perfectly fits the stamparatus. I have to say, mine, I've got a whole pad of this. I'm obviously being economical, which is not like me, but there you go. That's clearly seen better days, but never mind. I've got a random piece of card, and I'm going to secure that using the 2 magnets that you'll find on the base of the stamparatus. These are very, very strong magnets, and they attract one another, so you need to keep them apart. There is a great danger if they get stuck together that they're going to break. You can get replacements, but it's annoying if that happens. I think every time I get this, not every time, but a lot of times I get this out and I manage to stick them together, and so far either I've managed to prise them apart or Jim has for me, but I know my luck is going to run out, so I'm going to do my best. But if you hear me squealing in anguish in the middle of it, you'll know it's all gone horribly wrong. So let's have a go at the hippo. We haven't actually seen the hippo. I would also recommend that you have a pack of wet wipes to hand. That's always handy, particularly if you're messy. If you're a messy crafter like I am. So my hippo, I'm using the solid image of the hippo to start with. So this one, and then we're going to go back in with this one. So I'm going to put him down where I want him on my bit of card. bring that down, and then I'm using Seaside Spray as my base colour. Put that back over there, and we have a stamped image of a pretty blue hippo. Clean off my plate. I saw on a video somebody was using their Stamparatus, and they made a suggestion. You know the little ink spots that you can buy? You can, I think you can buy them in the collections now, but you can also buy the blank ones basically that you can add ink to, and they are really, really tiny, and the sort of things that you get in a stamp kit, but they are ideal for inking up your images on your Stamparatus plate. A lot less messy. So what we need to do, and this is where the fun starts, you need to line up his ears, basically his head, but then you also need to, I might just take that out of the way for a moment, you need to then line up his legs as well. And I have to say already, although it's only lunchtime, the light is kind of fading, so you have to pick your moments, I think, at this time of year. But I think that's good enough to give you the idea. So let me just put that back. I can probably 100% guarantee it won't be perfect, but just slightly, there we go. So let's go in with our Misty Moonlight. I won't leave the ink pad lying around. It's a recipe for disaster. Oh, that's not actually too bad. Breathe a sigh of relief. So there we go. We've got our hippo. He needs obviously some features, and it would help if I brought my black Magenta ink in, wouldn't it? But of course I haven't. Tell you what, let's do the horse. We'll do the horse, and then I'll go and get my ink. So again, we're using our solid image here of the horse. Move this up slightly. My bit of card is probably a little bit big, and it's also not the thick card, it's the thinner one. There we go. And my base colour for him is going to be the soft sea foam. That's the easy bit. You could always just put that base image on. You could actually just put your stamp on a block and add that to your card, and then just use your Stamparatus for putting on the top layer, if that's actually easier. Probably a bit less wiping, if I'm honest. Right, there we go. Here we've got the base of our horse. So again, I'm trying to match his ears up to start with, and then working down from the top of the head then along his back, and then just trying to make sure that without sticking my head under the camera, I've actually got his feet covered, or his legs covered. Just tipping that slightly because I have to admit, struggling to see. Goes from bright sunshine to, I think it's even looking a bit misty out there now. I'm just going to go with that. I'm convinced it's not right, but I'm sure you're getting the idea of where we're going with this. for the sake of the video, let's not prolong the agony even more. So yeah, do this in a bright light so you can actually see what you're doing. And obviously when you're working, you're not filming something, you can bring it up a lot closer to you. But all things considered, that's not too bad. Now you can see the ink hasn't really taken that well on that bit, has it? So this is the brilliant thing, apart from the fact it's quite hard to eyeball it. It can be done, but it's easier with the Stamparatus. But the great thing is, unless you've moved anything, that will go down again in exactly the same place. So if the ink hasn't taken, you can rectify it, which is always good. So I will just pause this or stop it and just come back with my black ink. I had to forget something. It's not a video of mine if I don't, is it? So yeah, I'll just come back very quickly to finish off. So it's always that much easier when I have my trusted cameraman, because he can shine the camera onto the, or aim the camera at the cat who's normally around or something. But anyway, and one day in my dreams I'll have a craft room and I can just turn around and go, oh, whatever I've forgotten is just there on my shelf. But never mind. So there's two ways of doing this. You've got various little features. So that was the little one that went with the sheep. Then we've got that one goes with the horse. Just trying to see if there's actually another one. Oh, that's it. So that works for the hippo as well. So with the sheep, I actually just used that on one of my blocks and just added that to the sheep. With the hippo, we're going to try and use the Stamparatus. So I'm going to go with the horse first, I think. I'm going to put that on one of my little A blocks. I've got some memento here. And then I'm just going to try and line those two black circles in the middle up with where you can see where the little bit of green is there. Sometimes this can be a bit strong, so I would personally stamp it off, because if it comes out too fine, you can always add to it using a black stamping right marker. I'm going to just twist this round in the attempt to try and try and see. Yeah, so it's slightly askew, I have to say, but gives you the idea. And if you want as a unicorn, then the horn would go on there. So that's that one. I have to remember which one I actually used on the hippo. It's been a while. Okay. There he is. I knew that was the wrong one. So we've got a hippo one. There we go. So again, you could do this with your Stamparatus. That lines up like so. But I'm just going to, for the sake of this, I'm going to just eyeball it, because I'm sure you've got the idea. we go. So that is basically how you're able to use that stamp set as a two-step stamp set. So the image, of course, once it's been stamped, you can use it as it is, or you may wish to cut it out as I've done on the boxes. If you do, just one little tip would be to set the image up on your plates. I'm using my Big Shot, but whatever tool you're using or machine you're using to cut out using die cuts. It's not got a lot of room for error. It's not like cutting out something like this where it doesn't really matter if the die actually moves. I would, to keep that in place, just add a post-it note. That way it won't move at all as you run that through your machine, and then that will cut out the image exactly how you want it to be cut out. So that is it. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. I hope that has inspired you to have a play with these little mini paper pumpkin boxes. They're great fun to decorate, and as I say, you can put all sorts of little gifts in them. So everything that I have used, I will put the details on the front of the video as usual. Everything is current, so it can be purchased via my online shop if something's taken your fancy. The link for my shop will be on the front, as will be the link for my blog, where you can find up-to-date information about Stampin' Up! News and also some other project ideas. If you've enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that as well. I have, at this moment in time, no clue what I'm going to be back with, but I will be back. But thanks ever so much for watching today, and I will see you very soon. But until then, take care. Bye for now.